Every day you wake up, you're handed a brand new chance to become someone stronger, wiser, tougher, and more focused than you were yesterday. The world might not always give you what you ask for, but it will always give you an opportunity to rebuild yourself. And that's the one thing no one can take from you. Not failure, not fear, not doubt, not hard times. Every sunrise is a reset button, a fresh page, a blank canvas waiting for the brush your determination. The question is simple: what will you do with it? Too many people wait for the perfect moment. They wait for the right energy, the right support, the right motivation. They wait for permission. But growth doesn't wait. Strength doesn't wait. Success doesn't wait. Life is happening right now. And the ones who rise are the ones who decide to pick up the pieces of who they were and build a better version from the ground up. Not once, not twice, but every single day. You don't rebuild yourself because you're weak. How? You rebuild yourself because you're powerful enough to transform, because you understand that progress is not an event. It's a lifestyle. It's a commitment. You show up on the days when you feel unstoppable, and you show up on the days when you feel broken. You keep pushing, even when the weight feels too heavy, because greatness isn't found in comfort. It's forged in struggle, shaped in discipline, sharpened in sacrifice. Some days life will hit you harder than you expected. You'll lose things you cared about. You'll face disappointments that take the air out of your lungs. You'll make mistakes that haunt you. But hear this: you are allowed to fall. You are allowed to cry. You are allowed to feel lost for a moment. What you are not allowed to do is stay down. Don't let a temporary failure become a permanent identity. Stand up, breathe, and rebuild. You rebuild not by pretending everything is perfect, but by accepting that nothing will be perfect unless you work for it. You look at your flaws, your fears, your weaknesses straight in the eye, and you don't run from them. You use them. You take responsibility. You say, this is where I am, but not where I will stay. Because every time you rebuild yourself, you become stronger than the version that broke. You want confidence. Build it. You want discipline? Train it. You want success? Create it. You want peace? Protect it. You want strength? Earn it. Nothing about your future changes unless you do. Waiting won't save you. Hoping won't move you. Action will. Habits will. Consistency will. Rebuilding is not about perfection. It's about direction. It's about deciding every morning that you will not let who you used to be control who you are becoming. Look at the people you admire. Look at the ones who inspire you. They didn't get there because life was easy. They got there because they rebuilt themselves so many times that their weakness ran out of places to hide. They kept rising. They kept learning. They kept fighting for the future they believed in. And so can you. You are not defined by your past. You are designed by your decisions. Every day is a chance to decide again, to choose again, to rise again. And if yesterday wasn't your day, then good, because today is. You're not behind. You're not too late. You're not broken beyond repair. You're becoming. You're evolving. You're doing exactly what every strong person has done before you, rebuilding piece by piece. But don't rebuild with excuses. Rebuild with honesty. Rebuild with effort. Rebuild with intention. Rebuild like your future depends on it, because it does. Some days you'll take big steps, and some days you'll only move an inch. That's fine. Progress is progress. What matters is you don't stop. Because every step you take adds up. Every small win counts. Every bit of effort builds your foundation. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. And don't misunderstand this journey. Rebuilding yourself doesn't mean changing who you are to please the world. It means becoming the person you know you're capable of being. It means letting go of habits that hold you back. Letting go of people who don't respect your growth. Letting go of the older version of yourself that settled for less because they didn't know what they were capable of. You rebuild by upgrading your mindset, your discipline, your environment, and your belief in your own potential. There will be days when you feel like you're rebuilding with shaking hands. Days when you doubt your strength. Days when you question if all this effort is worth it. But listen closely, that's part of the process. You can't build muscle without resistance. You can't build wisdom without mistakes. You can't build resilience without hardship. You can't build a new version of yourself without letting the old version crumble a little. You owe it to yourself to keep going. You owe it to your dreams, to your future, to the younger version of you who prayed to be where you are now. They didn't survive everything just so you could give up halfway. They held on so you could rebuild into the version they always hoped you'd become. Every day you wake up, you're reborn. Your past doesn't wake up with you unless you choose to carry it. Leave it. Leave the guilt. Leave the fear. Leave the doubt. Leave the excuses. What you carry determines how far you go, and you can't climb mountains with weights tied to your soul. Release it. Step forward lighter. Step forward wiser. Step forward stronger. And don't rebuild quietly. Rebuild with conviction. Rebuild with the fire of someone who refuses to let life dictate their worth. Rebuild with the energy of someone who knows that being better than yesterday is the real victory. Rebuild like your story isn't finished. Because it isn't. There are chapters inside you that haven't been written yet. There is strength inside you that you haven't discovered yet. There is greatness inside you that is waiting for your courage to unlock it. Every day is a construction site. Your mind, your habits, your courage, your vision, they're all under renovation. You are the architect of your life. You choose the blueprint. You choose the materials. You choose the height of the building you're becoming. And every choice you make either builds you up or breaks you down. So choose wisely. Choose boldly. Choose to rebuild. The world will test you. Life will shake you. Challenges will try to stop you. But you rise. You build. You rebuild. Again and again. Until the version of you standing in the mirror is someone you're proud of, someone unshakable, someone unstoppable. Every new day is more than just a date on a calendar. It is a doorway, a reset, a quiet invitation to redefine who you are and who you're becoming. When you open your eyes each morning, life hands you something powerful, possibility, a chance to correct what went wrong, to strengthen what feels weak, to rise above whatever held you down yesterday. But most people never realize the value of that gift. They wake up carrying the weight of old mistakes, old fears, old disappointments, dragging yesterday into today as if they are obligated to relive it. They forget that every sunrise brings a clean slate, and what you write on it is entirely up to you. To rebuild yourself every day means you treat each morning as a new construction site of your life. You don't wait for motivation to appear like magic. You don't wait for someone to push you. You don't wait for luck to show up at your door. You take responsibility for shaping your mindset, sharpening your focus, and strengthening your character. It means you wake up and ask yourself, what can I do today that makes me better than yesterday? That question alone can shift your direction because it forces your attention away from excuses and toward action. Growth doesn't happen in one moment of inspiration. It happens in thousands of small decisions stacked on top of each other. It happens when you choose discipline over comfort, purpose over distractions, effort over laziness. It happens when you decide that even if you can't change everything at once, you can improve one part of yourself today, and tomorrow you improve another. That's how transformation happens, not through sudden miracles, but through consistent rebuilding, layer by layer, choice by choice. When you rebuild yourself every day, you stop allowing the past to dictate the present. You stop giving power to setbacks. You stop letting people who doubted you become the narrators of your life. You begin to understand that every morning is a new vote for the person you want to be. Maybe yesterday you were tired, unfocused, or disappointed in yourself. That's fine. Today gives you another chance. And if today doesn't go how you planned, good, you get to try again tomorrow. There is no rule that says you must remain who you were. Reinvention is your right. Improvement is your responsibility. Of course, rebuilding isn't easy. It demands honesty. You must look at the parts of yourself that need work, the habits that waste your time, the thoughts that hold you back, the fears that limit your actions. You can't rebuild what you refuse to acknowledge. But once you accept where you are, you gain control over where you're going. You replace old patterns with better ones. You replace doubt with discipline. You replace fear with preparation. You replace excuses with action. It's not about being perfect. It's about refusing to stay the same. Every day you rebuild, you get stronger, not just physically or mentally, but spiritually. Your mindset toughens. Your confidence grows. Your resilience becomes unshakable. And the world starts noticing. You walk differently. You speak differently. You show up differently. People begin to wonder what changed, but the truth is simple. You chose to use every day as a tool instead of letting days pass without meaning. Some days you'll feel unstoppable. Some days you'll feel defeated. But rebuilding doesn't depend on how you feel. It depends on your decision to keep going. Even working on yourself for 5 minutes is better than letting the entire day slip away without effort. Small improvements compound. Small wins add up. A tiny step each day will take you farther than one giant step once a year. Rebuilding is about momentum, not miracles. Imagine yourself a year from now if you committed to improving just one thing every day. A stronger mind, a sharper skill, a healthier body, a calmer soul, a clearer purpose. You wouldn't just be better, you would be unrecognizable. That is what daily rebuilding does. It transforms you slowly, quietly, consistently until one day you realize you become the person you used to look up to. Life will test you. Challenges will try to break you. Some mornings you'll wake up tired, discouraged, or overwhelmed. But rebuilding means you rise anyway. You push anyway. You show up anyway. Because you understand that strength is not built on days when everything feels easy. Strength is built on the days when you keep going despite the pressure. Every new day is a gift, a chance to build again, a chance to rise again, a chance to grow again. And the more you use that chance, the more unstoppable you become. Rebuilding yourself through struggle, honesty, and consistent effort is not a simple task. It's a commitment that asks you to walk through the fire instead of avoiding it. It asks you to be real with yourself, to confront the truth of who you are and what you need to improve, and to keep working even when your energy is low, your motivation is weak, and your path feels uncertain. Most people want growth without discomfort, success without sacrifice, strength without pressure. But nothing valuable is born in comfort. Everything powerful in life is shaped through resistance, through challenge, through the willingness to stay in the arena when quitting would be easier. When you choose to rebuild through struggle, you are choosing a path that isn't glamorous but is necessary. Struggle teaches you things comfort never will. Patience, discipline, resilience, self-control, humility, and the ability to stand back up no matter how hard life knocks you down. Every time you push through difficulty, you add another layer of strength to your character. You learn that you can handle more than you thought. You learn that pain can't stop you. You learn that fear doesn't have the final say. Struggle becomes the very tool that shapes you into someone capable of handling the success you're working toward. And then comes honesty, something even more difficult than struggle. Because it's easy to blame circumstances, easy to blame people, easy to blame life. It's harder to admit your weaknesses, your bad habits, your distractions, your excuses. Honesty forces you to look in the mirror without filters, without justification, without pretending. It forces you to acknowledge the uncomfortable truth that the life you want requires you to change the way you live. You can't become a stronger version of yourself while protecting the habits that keep you weak. You can't pursue your potential while clinging to your comfort zone. Honesty is the foundation of rebuilding because it removes the lies that slow you down and exposes the areas that need work. Honesty also means taking responsibility, not for what happened to you, but for what you choose to do after it. It means recognizing that while you can't control everything, you can always control your actions, your effort, your mindset, your discipline. It means accepting that improvement is in your hands and no one else can do the work for you. That realization may feel heavy, but it's also liberating. Because the moment you accept responsibility, you gain power. You stop waiting for people to change. You stop waiting for circumstances to align. You stop waiting for motivation to show up. You become your own engine. But struggle and honesty alone aren't enough. You need consistent effort. Not once a week. Not only on the good days. Not only when you feel inspired. Rebuilding yourself requires showing up, even when everything inside you wants to stop. It requires placing your goals above your mood, your discipline above your excuses, and your purpose above your comfort. Consistency is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. It is the quiet, steady force that makes small steps turn into big progress. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means persistence. It means waking up and doing something each day, even if it's small, even if it's messy, even if it's difficult. The greatest transformations happen not through occasional bursts of effort, but through daily actions, small, repeated, intentional. You don't notice the change at first. You might question whether your efforts are paying off. But over time, something powerful begins to happen. Your mindset sharpens. Your habits strengthen. Your character becomes solid. You become someone who doesn't rely on motivation, but on discipline. Someone who follows through. Someone who becomes unstoppable because they refuse to stop. Consistency builds trust with yourself. Every time you follow through, you prove to your own mind that you can be counted on. And that trust becomes your strength. It becomes the foundation of confidence, the root of self-belief, the source of inner power. People lose confidence not because they lack talent, but because they break promises to themselves. When you rebuild through consistent effort, you reverse that pattern. Every action becomes a promise kept. Every step becomes a vote for the person you want to be. And let's be clear, rebuilding through struggle, honesty, and consistent effort will not always feel good. There will be days when you feel stuck, days when you question your progress, days when quitting feels like the easier choice. But those are the days that matter most. Those are the moments that build your heart, that shape your spirit, that teach you who you truly are. Anyone can work hard when everything is going right, but those who rebuild themselves through effort, even in silence, even in difficulty, become the kind of people who rise regardless of circumstances. This process teaches you discipline, the ability to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. It teaches you patience, the understanding that real change takes time. It teaches you humility, the awareness that growth requires learning, failing, adjusting, and trying again. It teaches you courage, the strength to face your flaws and still believe you can improve. Most importantly, it teaches you resilience, the power to bend but not break, to fall but not stay down, to be wounded but not defeated. Rebuilding through struggle, honesty, and consistent effort is not a one-time transformation. It is a lifelong commitment. You will rebuild yourself again and again, after failure, after disappointment, after heartbreak, after setbacks, and each time you will rise higher than before. Because each rebuild strengthens you. Each rebuild sharpens you. Each rebuild prepares you for the next chapter of your life. When you choose this path, you are choosing the hardest road, but also the most rewarding one. The road that leads to growth. The road that leads to strength. The road that leads to the best version of yourself. You are not defined by your past. You are shaped by the decisions you make today and every day moving forward. Too many people live their lives chained to old mistakes, old memories, old pain, as if the past has the authority to dictate their destiny. But the truth is simple: your past is a place of reference, not residence. What you've been through might have influenced you, but it does not have the power to imprison you unless you give it that power. Every day you wake up, you create your future with the choices you make, the habits you build, the attitudes you carry, and the actions you commit to. The past can only define you if you stop growing. The moment you choose to rise, to rebuild, to learn, and to move forward, the past loses its grip. The world might try to remind you of who you were, but that doesn't matter. What matters is who you're becoming. You cannot rewrite yesterday, but you can transform tomorrow by making stronger decisions today. You cannot change what happened, but you can change what happens next. You are not a prisoner of your history. You are the author of your future. The decisions you make today, no matter how small, carry more weight than the mistakes you made years ago. You decide whether you stay stuck or step forward. You decide whether you repeat the same patterns or break them. You decide whether you use your past as an excuse or as motivation. And the powerful part is that every moment gives you another chance to choose differently. Even if you fell yesterday, even if you failed last week, even if you wasted months or years, today stands in front of you offering a fresh opportunity to rebuild, restart, and rise again. You don't need permission to evolve. You don't need approval to grow. You don't need validation to start fresh. All you need is the courage to decide that your future matters more than your history. And that courage grows each time you make one simple choice to move forward instead of backward. You're not expected to transform overnight. You're expected to choose progress one day at a time, even when it feels slow, even when it feels uncertain, even when no one claps for you. Growth is not a grand announcement. It's a quiet, consistent decision to become better than you were. The past often tries to whisper reminders of your failures, your fears, your flaws. But those whispers only become loud if you keep listening to them. You drown them out not by arguing with them, but by taking action, by making new choices that align with the person you want to be, by proving to yourself through action that you are no longer who you were. Every positive decision, every disciplined moment, every bold step weakens the influence of the past and strengthens your control over your future. Your decisions today also determine the type of person you will become. Every choice builds your character. Every habit forms your identity. If you choose discipline, you become disciplined. If you choose courage, you become courageous. If you choose excuses, you become limited. If you choose effort, you become unstoppable. The difference between the person stuck in the past and the person creating their future is not luck. It's decisions. It's the quiet, powerful choices made behind closed doors that shape who you are in the world. People often underestimate the impact of daily decisions. They think small choices don't matter. But small decisions repeated over time turn into big transformations. The decision to wake up earlier, the decision to work on yourself, the decision to break a bad habit, the decision to say no to distractions, the decision to learn something new. These seemingly simple actions, done consistently, build the foundation of a stronger version of you. You don't become successful by accident. You build success through intentional decisions stacked day after day. And yes, some decisions will be painful. Choosing growth often means letting go. Letting go of toxic people, destructive habits, negative environments, old beliefs that no longer serve you. Letting go of the version of yourself that settled for less. Letting go of the comfort that kept you stagnant. But this process of release is what allows space for your evolution. A future full of potential cannot fit inside a mind cluttered with outdated fears and memories. Growth requires room, and room comes from removing what holds you back. Your past is not a death sentence, it's a lesson. It's a teacher. It shows you what didn't work so you can create what will. It shows you what hurt you so you can build strength. It shows you where you stumbled so you can walk with awareness. But lessons are meant to guide you forward, not chain you down. The moment you choose to use your past as wisdom Instead of identity, you begin to rise. You must also remember that you are constantly evolving. Who you were a year ago is not who you are now. Who you are now is not who you will be next year. Allow yourself the grace to grow. Allow yourself the space to change. Allow yourself to outgrow old versions of you that were built from survival instead of purpose. Your decisions create your transformation, and your transformation creates your destiny. Every strong person you admire once stood exactly where you stand, facing a past they wanted to escape and a future they had to build. They didn't rise because they were flawless. They rose because they made decisions that aligned with the person they wanted to become. They chose growth over comfort. They chose action over excuses. They chose responsibility over blame. And you have that same power within you. No matter where you came from, no matter what you've been through, no matter how many times you've fallen, you can still choose a different direction. You can still rebuild yourself into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable. You can still become a version of yourself that your past self would look at with pride and amazement. Your story isn't finished. Your best chapters haven't been written. Your power lies in your decisions, made one day, one moment, one choice at a time. Rebuilding yourself is not a project with a clear finish line. It's a lifelong evolution, a continuous unfolding of your highest potential. You don't improve once and stop. You don't grow for a season and then coast. The strongest, most powerful, most fulfilled people are those who wake up each day understanding that who they were yesterday is not enough for who they aim to become tomorrow. They keep adding, shaping, refining, adjusting, learning. They understand that greatness is not built in one moment. It is built in millions of moments stacked with intention, discipline, and courage. Every day presents you with new pieces of yourself to discover, new strengths to uncover, new weaknesses to confront, new habits to build, new layers of confidence to grow. When you embrace rebuilding as a lifelong process, you stop chasing perfection and start chasing progress. You stop expecting overnight transformation and start valuing daily improvement. You begin to understand that your potential has no ceiling. There is always another level of strength, another level of wisdom, another level of purpose waiting for you to reach it. When rebuilding becomes a lifestyle, you no longer collapse when life challenges you. You evolve. Problems don't break you, they teach you. Failures don't define you, they shape you. Criticism doesn't stop you, it sharpens you. You start to realize that every hardship contains a lesson and every setback contains an opportunity. This mindset separates the average from the exceptional. Most people see obstacles and stop. But those who commit to lifelong rebuilding see obstacles as invitations to grow sharper, stronger, and more resilient. Your highest potential is not a destination, it's a direction. You will continue walking toward it for the rest of your life. And as you walk, you learn who you are capable of becoming. You learn that you can rebuild after heartbreak. You can rebuild after failure. You can rebuild after mistakes. You can rebuild after disappointment. You can rebuild after moments that felt like they shattered you. And every rebuild makes you stronger than the version that broke. But growth doesn't happen automatically. It requires intention. You have to make conscious choices. Choices that support the person you want to be, not the person you used to be. It requires asking yourself what habits you need to create, what mindsets you need to change, what environments you need to leave, and what voices you need to stop listening to. It requires being honest about your distractions, your patterns, and your tendencies. You can't rebuild into your highest potential while clinging to comfort or making excuses for your limitations. Growth requires courage. Courage to step forward even when you feel unsure. Courage to evolve even when others don't understand. Courage to continue even when the results come slowly. The process of rebuilding also means allowing yourself to outgrow old versions of yourself. The version of you that was satisfied with surviving cannot lead the version of you that aims to thrive. The version of you that settled for less cannot guide the version of you reaching for greatness. You must be willing to release the attitudes, insecurities, habits, and attachments that belong to chapter you've already outgrown. You can't carry old baggage into a new future. You can't walk into your potential while holding on to the fears that kept you small. And as you evolve, your world begins to change too. You start attracting better energy, better people, better opportunities, better outcomes. Not because life becomes easier, but because you become stronger. You start seeing things more clearly. You start choosing with intention instead of emotion. You start protecting your peace, your time, and your purpose. As you rebuild from within, everything around you begins to align with that growth. Rebuilding yourself for a lifetime also means respecting the pace of your journey. Some seasons require speed and action. Some require patience and reflection. Some seasons will feel like progress, others will feel like pressure. Some will feel like breakthroughs, others will feel like breakdowns. But each season plays a part in shaping the person you are meant to become. You cannot rush the process. You can only commit to it. You cannot skip steps. You can only climb them. You cannot avoid discomfort. You can only grow through it. There will be days when you feel unstoppable and days when you feel uncertain. Days when you take big leaps and days when you only manage small steps. Days when everything flows effortlessly and days when every decision feels heavy. But growth is not measured by how easy the journey feels. It's measured by your willingness to keep going. Whether you move fast or slow, progress is still progress. What matters is that you don't stop. What matters is that you stay committed to becoming better than you were yesterday. Your highest potential is unlocked through consistency, not convenience. Through discipline, not comfort. Through persistence, not perfection. Through the courage to keep rebuilding again and again, no matter how many times life tests you. Because every rebuild creates a stronger foundation. Every rebuild sharpens your character. Every rebuild pushes you closer to the version of yourself you were born to become. You're not meant to stay the same. You're meant to rise, evolve, stretch, grow, and become. You're meant to explore the power inside you, the power you haven't fully discovered yet. And the only way to reach that power is through continuous rebuilding, continuous learning, continuous refining. The more you commit to this lifelong process, the more unstoppable you become. Your greatest strength is not where you started or what you've been through. It's your ability to rebuild into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable every single day of your life. Everything you want to become is already within you, waiting for your courage to uncover it. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need permission, and you certainly don't need to be who you were yesterday. What you need is the willingness to rise every day and rebuild yourself with intention, discipline, and belief. You have survived too much, learned too much, and grown too much to let your past control your future. Every sunrise gives you a fresh chance to shape your story, and every decision you make becomes a brick in the foundation of the life you are creating. Your strength is not in never falling. It's in choosing to rise again, rebuild again, and become better again. Keep moving forward, keep evolving, and keep fighting for the person you are destined to be. Because the greatest version of you is still under construction, and every day is an opportunity to bring it closer to reality. And this is your moment. Go rebuild the strongest version of yourself.